The man did it again. I mean, he just finds new and creative ways to just beat down Toronto every night. And your thoughts on the game you saw and the ending?
Well, the game I saw, you give Toronto a lot of credit for battling and not giving up. Kyle Lowry had a really, really good game. And Anunoby showed up and he produced, dropping in 18 points. DeMar DeRozan was nowhere to be found. That's why ultimately Dwayne Casey elected to bench him and go with that second unit. Some of those subs that came in there and produced heavily, but ultimately they had to succumb to the greatness of LeBron James. And you're just running out of superlatives to really describe what this man is doing. He's the greatest player in the world. We consistently say that. But you know what? There were times in the past where you questioned his quote-unquote clutch gene. That has now been eradicated. Then he shows up tonight and drives, from the left towards the basket, but then fades about 15 feet away and banks in a game winner at the buzzer. You just can't say enough about him. He's elevated his level of greatness to another level. You can look at the fact that it's against the Toronto Raptors, a franchise whose numbers he's had for quite a long time. But greatness is greatness, and we've been witnessing it from him throughout this postseason. And tonight was just the latest example. Another sensational performance, another sensational ending from the game's most sensational player. It's really that simple.
LeBron, 38 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds in this one. And I want to credit Toronto because they got down 17, they kept fighting, and yet in the end, what do they have? They got nothing.
Nothing. They have nothing because they always end up with nothing when they go up against LeBron James. That's why I picked the Cleveland Cavaliers to win this series. I think Toronto is the better team collectively. They clearly had a better regular season. But when you talked about them going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers in a best-of-7 series, the question you had to ask yourself is, what are they going to be able to do with LeBron James? And the answer is nothing. They have no answer. They put on guys. He's either too big, too strong, too fast, a combination of it all. He plays with his back to the basket. He plays facing the basket. He goes in attack mode. He gets a little bit passive. He gets others involved. He refuses to 1 minute, then he refuses to get others involved and just takes over whenever he wants. Against the Toronto Raptors, I don't think that it's too overstating when you say, hey, he has their number. He has a psychological effect on them. He dropped 40-plus in a couple of games against the Indiana Pacers. Every single game was competitive. But against Toronto, he blew them out the other night because when he gets going, he affects them psychologically. Tonight, they fought valiantly because Coach Dwayne Casey did something different. He took his $138 million man in DeMar DeRozan, the star of the team, averaging 27 a game for them, and benched him because he wasn't getting it done and others were getting it done. They come on the court and they find a way to claw back into it, and they put themselves in a position to tie this game. They tied it. They could have potentially won it if it had gone to overtime, and LeBron James comes to the rescue to see that that is exactly what would not happen. This is what he does to the Toronto Raptors in a way he doesn't do it to any other team in the league. He might show greatness, he might put up great numbers, but against this particular team, he just demoralizes them. It's hard to imagine, but against them, he does it all the time.